All right, let's talk about Elon Musk.
By the way, can I say one thing that's sort of been missing in the financial coverage to some, at least for me? You've got Canada, Mexico, the big thing. Where the Chinese have been kind of quiet on this.
Because they haven't screamed and they're not trying to make a deal. They're a totally different beast.
I get it, but I just think that it's funny considering how important their stuff is to what we do every day. The one small piece.
They play the long game.
Right. No, I get it. I just find it fascinating from a diplomatic standpoint.
It's a good point.
It's a great point.
All right. Elon Musk. Last night he went on Spaces, and he had a special guest, Joni Ernst, senator from Iowa, and he talked about USAID. Play one of five, please.
What we have here is not an apple with a worm in it, but we have actually just a ball of worms. If you've got an apple and it's got a worm in it, maybe you can take the worm out. But if you've got actually just a ball of worms, it's hopeless. And USAID is a ball of worms. There is no apple. And when there is no apple, you've just got to basically get rid of the whole thing.
That's what we call an extended metaphor. So, as I said earlier, they told, even though they want everybody back to work, they told USAID employees not to come to work today while they sort things out. And there's all sorts of reports from the weekend about them accessing data that they don't have. You're going to hear Democratic members of Congress today. They've already sent a letter to Marco Rubio saying, what up with this? And we're in the midst of another round of stories about whether there's distance between Trump and Musk. The Washington Post has a story this morning that says Trump basically told Musk, go do this stuff. And the Post reports he's not paying close attention, which could be true, right?
It could be, but when you start closing down an agency and people are working from home, it tends to get a little attention.
So here is Trump. And again, Sean, in particular, I want you to read the body language. I took this as kind of a negative, even though the words ostensibly are supportive. Here's again Trump last night at Andrews on the tarmac, asked about, do you still have full faith and confidence in Doge leader Musk? Play 107, please.
Do you feel that Elon Musk is delivering on his promises to you? Do you feel he's doing a good job right now with Doge?
I do. I think Elon's doing a good job. He's a big cost cutter. Sometimes we won't agree with it and we'll not go where he wants to go, but I think he's doing a great job. He's a smart guy, very smart, and he's very much into cutting the budget of our federal government.
So it seems like Democrats are up in arms about USAID. Are Republicans going to care? Is this one where the press is not in sync with the public, which is like, foreign aid, government bureaucrats?
We talked about this a lot last night at the live event, and I'll just sum it up to say, there's a lot strategically and geopolitically that USAID helps do it, but there is no politician, for the most part, that's going to stand up right now and defend foreign aid because we have a $36 trillion deficit, multiple trillion dollar deficit. So the idea that you're going to stand up there right now and tell the American people, hey, I'm going to defend sending money to a country that you may have even heard of is not politically smart. And that's going to be the big disconnect. The idea, as Dan said, about the tariffs is it's very relatable. Like, I'm not an avocado eater, but
you do like a good Mexican, a good Dos Equis.
I do. I like a good Dos Equis with a lime. And so if you, that's relatable to the average person, right? This is how much it's going to cost me. Telling someone that you're cutting off foreign aid to a country in, Southeast Asia isn't going to resonate. Is it worth having a discussion about the importance? Sure. But I think in the current climate, neither Republicans or Democrats, the idea of cutting spending in foreign aid is going to be something that they get excited about.
Yeah. I think the one place in the long run it will is almost every USAID program has a champion in Congress. And to your point, they're not going to stand up and say, hey, this aid to South Korea to help with AIDS victims, I'm making this up, I'm going to lie in the tracks for. But that was my program, and it did good work. And you called us you said they're criminals. And I think that
when you take President Bush, PEPFAR,
right?
Like he's going to stand up and say this is saving lives,
exactly.
And so there's but people who have to get elected in 2 years, no.
So I think he's burning some capital with this. The way he talks about it so flippantly, the way he's just dismissive of it, as he keeps doing this, I think you're right. People aren't going to stand up and defend or scream on every program. But he's setting up a clash with people. And I think where Democrats will start to say is, here are the impacts to real people. The Chinese have come in. They're now funding it. We've lost an ally. People are drifting away from us. And as he goes toward domestic programs, at some point, Republicans will join Democrats and say, time out. What are you doing? You're out of control. And by the way, I think you're going to hear Democrats saying this, when we get power, the same precedent is being set.